So the polls are another matter of perception, apparently, because the study found that voters are more likely to believe a poll that favors the candidate they already like. So are polls really just basically useless? Is that what they're telling us? Because they certainly saw the last election differently.
Well, I wonder about that because Hillary, as we know, won the popular vote by 3 million votes. And I think that the polls that they were doing were across the country rather than based on the Electoral College. It wasn't based on, I'm going to go to Wisconsin and do that poll and then Pennsylvania. Right. So the poll actually said she would win. But that's because they canvassed the whole country. They weren't putting in the, you understand what I'm saying? They weren't factoring in the Electoral College polls, which is different.
And I'm sure they weren't factoring in Russia.
And they were not factoring in, Russia.
They weren't. Just want to throw that out there.
You can't say polls don't. I mean, you look at where we are now and the Democratic candidates have dropped out because with money, momentum, then money comes. And so if it weren't for these polls, we wouldn't have seen that Kamala Harris was sitting at a 2-3% month after month after month. Or Pete Buttigieg, who started, zero name recognition, who's now, 1, 2, 3 in some of these polls. So I think you can't totally say that polls don't matter at all. I think this is just how we view the world. If someone says something that you agree with, you like it. I mean, there's nothing that you love more, Joy, than a Republican. I mean, depending on the day.
Makes my day.
Depending on the day, you either love Mitt Romney or you hate the guy.
Romney, yeah.
I look. Why haven't I ever? I tend to wonder. I mean, I've never been polled. I've never been called. I've never participated. Yeah, I have a landline. I'm one of the few crazy people that has a landline, right? So I'm thinking, I'm black. I'm also Hispanic. I'm a woman.
I don't think they do
I
it
vote
like
in
that.
every freaking election.
Don't do it.
I've never been polled. Who are these people that they're polling? How can I rely on these polls? George Gallup, who was like the modern day poller, said it's like the chance of being in a poll is like the chance of being struck by lightning. Huh? Why should I rely on the polls?
Well, when I was in college, we took something called statistics.
I don't know.
Did you study statistics in college?
Yes, I didn't understand.
I didn't understand it either. But what I did understand was that there's some kind of scientific thing that goes on when you are a statistician and a poll taker. And it doesn't have to do with calling up Sonny Hostin. It's something...
Well, who are they calling?
Well, they're calling random people. You're not one of the people they're calling, just like you're not one of the people winning the lottery.
But how is it accurate?
There's also candidates.
It's scientific.
No, but there's also candidates that statistically are impossible to poll. Ron Paul, his supporters were. I mean, I used to joke that they live in the sticks everywhere, and please don't come for me, Ron Paul people. But same thing. They were notoriously hard to gauge how much it would come out for him because he had so much grassroots momentum. So I think there is a counter argument that Sonny's stating that maybe you're not talking to the right people. I don't know why you're not.
The
being
problem
called.
is a lot of people lie.
And there's actually a term for it and it's from a race in South Carolina where a black candidate was running against a white candidate and people called and said they would vote for the black candidate and the white candidate ended up winning by some huge margin. I think it's like around 25%. And it showed that people do end up lying to pollsters if they feel uncomfortable, which I think people should worry about.
Especially with Trump, though. I mean, I hear that in 2016, I can't tell you how many people that didn't publicly admit they were voting for Trump. But did.
Yeah.
Because they're embarrassed, or they think that they're going to be bullied for it, or whatever.
Why are they embarrassed?
I think it's going to be worse this time.
They should be proud of it if they're going to vote for him. Why are they embarrassed?
Well,
because
about how
a lot of times you're shamed publicly. A lot of places.
Why?
Well, I don't like polls because polls will say whatever they need to say.
What is happening?
Is that a term for Polish people?
Yes, polls.
Oh, never used it. Sorry.
We enjoyed Lech Walesa. He was a great
Yes,
poll.
he was great.
Yeah.
But I have been polled. I've been polled by both parties, which always makes me laugh. Yeah, because I also have a landline, and have a landline because when the cell phone goes down, I want to be able to call somebody and say help.
Yeah,
Same.
that's true.
Same.
During the blackout, I believe you
Yes. So, but what was fun is when they ask questions. They say, "Are you a registered Republican?" I said, "No." And they said, "Well, I have you done." I said, "But I'm not." And then they say, "Well."
They say goodbye.
Can we ask? No, they don't. They don't. They say, "Can we ask you a few questions?" I say, "Yeah, okay." And they said, well, you know, what do you think of what's going on? I said, that I should tell you. You may not want to ask me too many questions. Because I might talk about you on TV.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
They're like-
But they're not calling Whoopi. They're just calling a
Yeah,
random
random number.
with
Can I just
random
ask
questions.
quickly, how many
Yeah.
people in the audience have been polled?
Brian has.
All 4 of us.
1, 2, 3.
Well, that's
And there you have it. That's why you got to watch out for the poll.